Malignant is a film directed by James Wan and written by Akela Cooper. Or is it? I'm going to get into a review of the film soon, but first I want to address a controversy that only came about in the last few months. A filmmaker named Adam Costco has claimed that the idea and portions of the script were actually stolen from him by the production company, Atomic Monster. I'll link to his video below, but to summarize, he wrote a script called Little Brother in 2014. He submitted it to a number of different companies, including Atomic Monster. This was done early in 2019, just a few months before the script for Malignant was begun. Both films have a number of similarities, including a psychic twin parasite, a female protagonist, an investigation, and revenge on doctors who performed an operation. Some lines of dialogue are also very similar. Of course, both scripts also bear a large resemblance to the cult classic 80s film Basket Case, and have a number of relatively generic horror elements. I'm not here to definitely say whether the concept was stolen or appropriated, and a court has already ruled that there's no proof one way or the other, but I think it's worth mentioning, especially because there was a similar case with another franchise James Wan was involved with, Saw. Greg Ace claims that Saw was made after seeing his film, Den. He lists a number of similarities, including a serial killer constructing games to test people, two protagonists waking up chained up in a room, and secrets from the character involving infidelity. Again, many of the comparisons are fairly broad, and there was again a court settlement, although the actual details of that one are difficult to find. The element that lends this one credence is that it was shown at the Melbourne Underground Film Festival, where they won an award for Best Actress, and Wan was studying in Melbourne in film school at the time. It's all circumstantial, although there are a couple of other odd coincidences involving posters. The first is the poster for Den, which features a ghostly white face with a red spiral on it, which bears quite a similarity with Billy the Puppet. Then there's an additional case with Malignant's alternate poster, which was seemingly heavily inspired by Andrzej Pazkowski's poster for the 1988 film Interrogation. Again, none of this is definitive proof of anything, but it's important to note. I'd love to hear your comments below about what you think. Now with that ugly business out of the way, let's take a look at the film itself. It's a slasher in the style of the Italian giallo films of the late 1970s, with a heavy dose of James Wan. What that means is a seemingly infinite number of slow zooms, ridiculous gore, and unique shots. It is not a serious film. It is ridiculous and over the top in every way, and that works. It also features some amazing effects and great monster design in Gabriel, combined with a few decent scares mixed in amongst the nonsense, and you have an incredibly good time if the viewer is in the right mood. Now some of you might be asking, what's a giallo film? Well, it's a subgenre of slasher that we're focused on a few defining elements. A mysterious killer, an investigation, most of the time by the police, excessive violence often of a sexual nature, black gloves worn by the killer, dramatic and colorful lighting, and a general sense of unreality, which comes across both in the dialogue and the actions of the characters. They are rarely supernatural and have a heavy focus on voyeurism and first-person perspectives. While Malignant doesn't have all these elements, there's no nudity and no perspective shots, it follows the same basic structure. It also has a twist, which I'll spoil now. The villain, Gabriel, and the protagonist, Madison, share the same body. This is very gradually revealed during the second act, allowing for a bloodbath of a third. Gabriel was her vestigial twin, attached to her back for much of her early childhood. He has increased dexterity, strength, and cruelty, and also electrical powers for some reason. After an operation, he was dormant for a few decades, but was reawakened after an act of domestic violence. All these plot points are in Little Brother, excluding the electrical powers, which are never really explained and by far the strangest part of the film. Dead Silence also had a similar thing, another of Wan's projects, where the villain for some reason can remove all noise. Thinking about it now, that one actually had a similar twist to this film too. It seems like Wan doesn't have that many original ideas. This film is generally split between the cops investigating and Gabriel/Madison going around murdering the doctors who performed the operation. This is shown in a fairly unique blending of realities, where one room morphs into another, although the best parts are when they are overlaid. The film really needs to be seen to understand the absurdity of it. From the very first scene it shows what kind of film it's going to be, and it delivers on that promise. After Wan had made two incredibly successful horror franchises, and Aquaman, he was free to do whatever he set his mind to, and this was the result. Due to COVID, it didn't make any money, $35 million box office on a $40 million budget, but even without the end of the world, it is a niche film, appealing to a subset of people. Regardless of whether or not the concept was stolen, Malignant is a fascinating and entertaining film. I wouldn't go so far as to call it good, but it's certainly a good bad film that is excellently shot and has a lot of interesting ideas. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and be well.